Hi, Stephen Bones here again of stephenbones.com. And through my life, I began to ask myself a question: where have we come from, why are we here, and where are we going? And those are actually three very powerful questions. I got this sort of feeling inside that there was more to life than what I was actually experiencing. And that took me on quite an amazing journey and experiences throughout my life. And I firmly believe now my understanding has become far greater than when I first got those feelings in my sort of late teens, early 20s. I now have a firm understanding that we're here, and my view is we're here for an experience and a purpose to be able to grow and learn. And how I began to understand more and more of this was I consumed material around me. Synchronicity came in. The more I learnt, the more I began to allow and let go of life and not try to push and plan what my views were or what my thoughts were. I began to just open my mind to take more information in. And I then came up with a few answers through study, and it wasn't hard study, it was just reading some books that came across my space and then surrounding myself with people that probably felt the same or looking for the same, and then masterminding and coming up with information. And it was amazing for me when that moment came of those, a bigger understanding of those questions, of a lot of experience that happened to me over the last 40 years suddenly synchronized, and this light suddenly came on, and wow, now I've got an understanding. And now I can accept probably why I'm here, which again took me into a road of healing because of the pre-programming, like we all have been from the ages of 0 to 6, and the trapped energies that we have, and that stuff that ran my life at that particular time. I still manage somehow, and I'm not sure how, to sometimes ignore that little voice when information came across my space. My intuition seemed to take over, and the more we use our intuition and the more we use anything, we hone those skills and they become sharper and sharper. But the same instance, if we cut it off, what happens is, if the old saying, if we don't use it, we do actually lose it. So for me, they were three very big questions. I wanted to share that with you as I went through life and began to get more stressed, and events started happening to me, and various things began to come along my way, such as trouble with relationships, trouble with work. Everything sort of happened for a reason. And when I look back now, if I had a very emotional point with relationships back in my early life, before I met my very amazing soulmate and wife of 30 years that I have now, what I did notice is when I come out of that very emotional phase, my career shot off for some reason. I progressed very quickly. And I look back now, and that was because I was quite an ambitious person. I got certain goals that I was trying to look for each day. And you know, my belief now, what I picked up from that experience, was that because I then switched my focus away from my career at that point, in other words, I wasn't bothered what was going to happen. I was just so hurt, or went through a period of deep emotion because I'd split up with this relationship. I'd actually I'd dropped my resistance and let that goal start to manifest, because I'd manifested it before, but now all of a sudden it was beginning to show up. And when I start to look back at that perspective, that experience that happened, it didn't happen once, it happened about 3 times. Why? Coincidence, you could say. Some of you might be listening to this and thinking, what a load of nonsense. But, you know, when you talk to a lot of other people and you get to peeling their lives back, similar things have happened to them. So is it coincidence, or is it manifesting and having a higher vibration and learning to let go? That, for me, was one of my biggest transformations. So I just wanted to share that with you. Quite an amazing story that for me, when I look back of how all this started to unfold, and the more now I've learned to let go in the last few years, and I've learned to understand that we don't have to be driven by the mind, which is what we allow because of our pre-programming. Amazing things start to happen and synchronicity starts to come in. So I really do want to thank you for listening to me. My name's Stephen Bones, and we will speak soon. Bye for now.